One thing of note is that the 4 remaining matches all will be best of 7, away from the traditional best of 5 that we see. It is instead a best of 7. Match number 1, game number 1 of the semi-finals. Let's count them down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Tetris. And I just noticed that the match arena has been bumped up by another $40. Thank you very much to whoever did that. I'll go ahead and find out who that is after this game. Tristop off to a nice and perfect start with a Tetris right off the bat. NGC having to take a couple of burns, but sometimes that is what you have to do. Is it all best of 7 the rest of the way? Yes. The semi-final onwards is the best of 7. So it is slightly more grueling than what we're used to. In the test tournament, the best of 7 only happened at the finals and the 3rd place match. But with this being a 64-player bracket, I thought that I would extend it to also the semi-finals. Anyway, Tristop off to a 1 Tetris lead and a very nice T spin tug. And gets the nice dependency solved with the long bar over a very fancy spins. Back to a nice traditional right well, gets long bar, gets a Tetris. However, the scores have now equalised between the 2 players. They are neck and neck with each other. Should I add the colours in the command? It could be helpful, because otherwise I might have to keep on saying what they are constantly. Both player stacks very stable. Nothing else much to say. Good solid stacking. Over 80% Tetris rate. It's literally the perfect start. You can't be asking for any more. Both players reaching 400,000 points at 40 lines. By doing that, that is very solid pace. So both players enjoying a very enjoyable game, to say the least. Nice tuck on the J piece from Tristop. Had to take the triple. It was a good triple. Takes the Tetris afterwards. Gets the Tetris rate back up to 90%. Now up to 191%. Already reaching 300,000 points at 57 lines. I dare say that that's 700k transition pace. No jinx. But if Tristop carries on like this, we could have a special game on our hands already at game number 1. NGC Man in the other time, nothing to scoff at. 305 at 63 lines, he can still get a 650k transition. We could have a double special game in our hands if they keep on carrying on like this. But it's one thing getting the pace, it's another thing just not choking it. That's the thing about being a dust player. If you do one mistake, you instantly have about a 50-50 chance to immediately top out, especially at level 19. You have to play perfect. Only perfection is good enough. Otherwise, you are the weakest link. NGC having to take a few burns with a line drought forming. Takes a single skim, followed by a double. After 20 pieces, the long bar does finally come, which is 400,000 points at 84 lines, maintaining an 80% Tetris rate. Tristop, on the other hand, gets the J piece finally for the triple. Long bar comes at the wrong time, gets a split double. Center a little bit dicey, but the long bar does eventually come for a Tetris. And Tristop is about half a Tetris behind during the late game of the level 18. Now, I don't know why my max height card keeps on shifting like that. Good thing I can easily adjust it. Up. Oh my goodness, you are completely correct. You see, this is what I get for not checking everything properly. There we go. Maybe you can just like, I don't know, do your editing tricks to just paste over a quarter and put in semi instead. Not sure if that would work or not. But anyway, both players getting quite close to the transition. And both players pretty much breathing on each other's necks in terms of pace. No one player having a distinct advantage over the other. This will come down to post-transition. A little bit of unfortunate RNG for NGC. Nice placement of these pieces. Now waiting on an L piece. Ooh, that's a overshift of the T piece. It's not fatal by any means. It's quite a lucky misdrop, I must say. Clean it set out, but the S piece came at the worst time possible. Tristop does transition with a score of 600,000 points. 1.1 pace to say the least, and NGC does finally manage to transition Tetris at 582. So Tristop does have a slight advantage going into transition. It'll be up to NGC to see if he can try and catch up and play better. Tristop is just keeping the foot to the floor. 660 at level 22. Now 2 Tetrises ahead. Tetris for NGC Man, back up to 70% Tetris rate. Had to take the single for Tristop. No other move. Finally gets a Tetris. 696 at level 21 into level 22. Almost. Longbar does come. 720,000 into level 22. That is 1.1 pace, most definitely. And NGC Man is falling slightly behind. Does get a Longbar 680 at level 22. Now almost 100,000 points behind. But it's about 6 lines behind as well. So Tristop playing extremely solid so far in this post transition. NGC will have to play something very special in order to exceed what Tristop is currently doing. I mean, as we all know, Tristop's a DAS 1.3 player. And you need to be very good to get that. There's no arguments about that. 875 at level 24. That's the kind of pace in which a tapper would be very satisfied with. And NGC having to get bailed out a little bit with a few long bars, but does so. And Tristop now also in a little bit of a dig mode. But as not really what NGC wants. NGC wants to be clean, scoring Tetrises. But is forced to take some burns. NGC now dirty Tetris well ready, but had to bail out with a triple. Tristop now opened up the right hand side, now needs a few pieces. Gets a series of beautiful RNG, and now at level 26 with a perfect stack once more. Takes a double the T piece, waiting on the long bar. Now it's getting a little bit dangerous, bails out the single, now needs quick tap, successfully gets a quick tap to the left hand side. And you see now at level 26 going at row number 2, and Tristop is in serious trouble. And I don't think there's much that Tristop can do. No, 9-13 is a goal, and NGC can take this game with a Tetris and change. Now it's just a Tetris to take it. If NGC can successfully get a Tetris at level 28, he takes the game. Has 5 burns to do so, those S pieces are, but the long bar does come. And congratulations NGC. You have caught up from behind and have taken game number 1. What a first game that we had. Ooh, and we could have 7 games in our hands. No respite. One down, 10-3-6 to go. Both players are immediately ready. So let's count them down for that. In the meantime, I shall try and find the Matcherino page. Okay, thank you very much, C. Chris M for $20. Thank you very much, Pumpy Hut for $20. Thank you, Arboro for $10. I must stress, there is absolutely no obligation whatsoever to provide more funding for the prize pool. They are open, and I do thank you very much, very kindly, for any contributions that you do give. But once again, it is completely voluntary. Let's have a look at the game, and both players very solid starts. No early game mistakes. My single, followed by a Tetris for NGC. Tristop refusing to take the safety triple, but now does so. 24 bar drought, finally gets Tetris. Also, Scamper is threatening me if I don't. Are you misquoting me? Are you doing modern journalism by any chance? If you don't get 3 extra bars per game with a small print, that is subject to the RNG's mercy. Back at the game, I mean, what else can I say? I've noticed no misdrops by every player. TPs came at the right time for NGC and successfully gets a T-spin nothing, which unfortunately means no garbage lines is sent to the opponent. Both of them pretty neck with each other, although NGC is behind by 6 lines. So in that sense, he does have the slight pace lead. $310 and halfway mark for Tristop. Can definitely get another 600k transition from him. Back-to-back 600k transition is pretty good for a DAS player. There's no doubt about that. 306,000 at the halfway mark for NGC, also matching the pace that Tristop is having. This could be a back-to-back solid games that we have on our hands. Nice S-spin single for NGC Man. Both players maintaining a 75% Tetris rate. Tetris for Tristop, Tetris for NGC, waiting for a T-piece or a Z-piece. Gets a T-piece. Now looking for a J-piece or a long bar, puts an S-piece in there instead, and NGC stack is looking mighty dangerous there. Gets the long bar and kind of bailed out there. Another long bar bailout for NGC Man. RNG is smiling on him today. Now at row number 3. Had to block up the well with an S-piece. Wasn't much of a move available for him, but does get a long bar for another Tetris. NGC takes a triple. And they are both neck and neck with each other once again. Absolutely. Tristop can just slam down Tetrises all day, any day. Aggression must be kept up in order to keep up with Tristop. Nice Z spin for NGC. Fortunately, no Tetris there. Now it's a double long bar dependency on the right hand side in column number 3. Takes a series of skims. Takes a double. Drought counter now going up. Drought counter still going up for NGC, and the long bar does finally come up to 23 pieces. And as a result, it's now behind by 100,000 points. That's the first time we have one player having the distinct lead before reaching transition, and that's Tristop. Reaching 600,000 points before transition. That S-piece, however, comes at... Oh, another S-piece comes at the worst time possible. So Tristop has to do a little bit of digging. So SP gets out of it, dig. But has to... Oh, this is a very dangerous stack for Tristop. Long bar or bust. Gets the long bar. Praise RNG. And now Tristop can get out of this predicament. Small opportunity for NGC to try and catch up, but with a transition score of not even 500,000, NGC will have to play pretty much the best he can in order to be able to take it. But Tristop is still digging, however, so still an opportunity for NGC to catch back up. Nice series of movements for Tristop, and now he is perfectly clean once again. And ooh, looks like lost DAFs completely on the L piece. So more burning for Tristop. And all of a sudden, the 100,000 point lean has been reduced down to 75,000, and all those O pieces for NGC not looking good. Oh, gets that L piece over. And a dirty triple. And a Tetris for NGC Man. Tristop in the meantime gets bailed out with a long bar. Now has to fill in the long bar dependency at column number 4. Turns into a dirty Tetris route, bails out with a triple. NGC once again doing a bit of digging high up. Oh, gets S piece over to the right hand side. Even so, that looks very high. The S piece is the best piece possible to put to the right hand side. You can put that piece very high up on the right hand side indeed. 3 SZ pieces in a row for NGC, now completely dependent on the long bar. Long bar never came, and unfortunately what was a best of 7 has become a best of 5. It is now 1-all. Okay, they don't want any breaks. We continue. We are now on to game number 3. Let's count them down to that. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Alright, it's as if the best of 7 never happened. If we pretend the last 2 games didn't exist, we are now back to the traditional best of 5. Let's see what these players can do for game number 3. Tristop already O-dependent completely on that puck setup. Put your JPs in there instead, which is an acceptable solve, but we'll have to take a few burns in order to do it completely. Could turn into a dirty Tetris well, with size against it. And this time, for the first time, Tristop is having a bit of a suffer start this time round, unlike the previous 2 games. An NGC with a very high center stat going on. Lots of Z piece has been handed to him. But gets some good pieces at once to open up the right hand side, gets a long bar, gets a Tetris. Tristop's drought counter meantime did go up to 35 pieces before 2 long bars in a row does come, but unfortunately not at a very optimal time. We're past the early mark, almost at line 40, and NGC is already enjoying a 3 Tetris lead. Tristop taking a Tetris and trying to find a way to solve the left hand side, does it with an O piece, very nice. Gets a long bar to the left hand side. He waiting for a piece put to the left. Jade panes in left, but that's not so bad. Having the jade panes in the left hand side is not as bad as quite a few people think. It's actually surprisingly accommodating, to find the right words for it. The only problem, of course, is if you have no burns at all to the right hand side. That's when it becomes a problem, potentially. Or your snap becomes inaccessible. Nice S-spin. Puts the long bar over to the left hand side. Long bar Tetris for Tristop. Halfway mark, and Tristop's not even at 200,000 points. Very stark difference compared to game number 1 and 2. And you see, in the meantime, looks like he has slowed down quite a bit. Still ahead by a Tetris. But unlike game number 1 and 2, we have a bit of a suffer game from both players. And you get that as a DAS player. Sometimes you just don't get the pace, but as long as you're alive, you're still scoring. And that's what matters most in competition. It's all about whoever gets the highest score. A Jade Pencil left is a Siren's Call. Not necessarily. Even on level 19, it's not so bad. There are circumstances where it is really bad. But it's less often than you think. The Tetris rail is just a long white jade dependency. Anyway, back in the game, and it looks like Tristop has managed to sort out his stack from the early game. And is now starting to get some kind of lead. Nice dirty Tetris for NGC. Saw the long bar coming. Adjusted accordingly. And slammed down the Tetris. Now that both players are firmly into scoring positions, taking into account line differences, Tristop is ahead by 1 Tetris in terms of pace. NGC taking a safety triple, followed by a Tetris, and we are now nearing into the end game of level 18. Tristop refusing to take the triple with that L piece gets rewarded for it for that Tetris. Now just 1 Tetris left for him. Gets along but gets Tetris. 505 transition for Tristop. Another Tetris for him. Just waiting on NGC, and perfect Tetris for NGC after that, those 2 S pieces. Lucky, but you take the luck. And NGC transitions with a score of 510. So they are both actually very close to each other. Once again, it will be whoever plays post-transition better. NGC already in the spot above it, gets long bar to fill in dependency. Tristan meantime with a beautiful stack going on, taking the skins, taking the Tetrises. NGC unfortunately just having to take burns. Having to put the long bar to the left hand side to create more burns. It's double for Tristop. And NGC is in the spot above it, can get full dash on the left hand side. Put piece to the right hand side, and NGC is now finally clean. But nice quick tap for Tristop to put to the J piece to the left hand side. And taking into account line differences, Tristop is at a Tetris and a half in the lead. Or NGC once again with a dodgy stack. Multiple LJ dependencies. 3 S pieces in a row. Another S piece. Now needs a piece to the left hand side, can do so with full dash. Manages to get out of it. Puts the long bar to the right hand side with a quick tap that looked like a few pieces back. But Tristop is now 100,000 points in lead. Finally keen for NGC takes Tetris at level 24 with 614. NGC will have to put on some pressure to try and catch up. Nice pieces for Tristop, gets one that gets a Tetris 734 into level 25. If Tristop really pushes, he can maybe get a max out. T-spin single for NGC Man, sending 4 lines of garbage to the 2 lines of garbage to the opponent. Safety triple for Tristop. Still 100,000 points in the lead. Tetris for NGC will look like an early dash load with the I can't remember what that piece was. It was an early dash load, and we're almost at the point where the score is now insurmountable. Tetris for Tristop. And NGC pretty much has to play perfect from then on to have any chance of catching up. And for Tristop to also top out. Ooh, Tristop with a few mistakes. This is still technically possible for NGC to, but now it's no longer possible for NGC with that single. NGC has to set up a double Tetris in order to take this. And unfortunately, could not put any pieces to the left hand side, and as such, Tristop will take the game, and it is now 2-1. GG's to both players. Tristop now takes a 1-game lead. It is 2-1. Tristop is 2 games away from getting to the finals, and NGC still needs 3 more games. Both players are ready? Let's count them down for game number 4. These guys can't play kill screen. Take my head. And I just noticed it's slightly misaligned at the top. I don't know if you noticed. How is it in my... Oh, it's completely misaligned. That's better. No, the title at the top, it was slightly skewed to the left hand side. NGC already with a line drop going on. 32 pieces now. After 37 pieces, NGC finally gets a Tetris. And it has allowed Tristop to take an early lead, but his stack is not in scoring position right now. Needs an O piece. Gets an L piece, but a little bit too late. We'll have to take some more burns. And just like that, the scores were tied. triple for NGC followed by a Tetris. Tetris for Tristop. Tetris for NGC. You already have mod. As such, you are now unmodded. If only I had such powers. Both players neck and neck after 47 lines, just a difference of half a triple. %70 Tetris rate each for both players. Almost at the halfway mark for NGC. Takes a single skim, now Tetris ready. Building up, long bar Tetris, 290 at the halfway mark. NGC can definitely get a 550k in transition at least if he carries on like this. Now Tristop's drought counter is counting up. It's his turn to see what it feels like to be droughted. Long bar does come after 28 pieces. Unfortunate S piece for NGC, but good pieces for that long bar, and now can do a series of tucks. Just waiting on the right pieces. L spin, and NGC is once again at a stable stack. Tetris with Tristop. And despite being a few lines ahead, he is behind by a Tetris. So in terms of pace, NGC is considered to have the advantage here. But however, it's very slight, only very slight. And now, after almost 100 lines, the players are neck and neck with each other. NGC's shaking his head. Lost Tetris readiness and had to take a few burns as a result. Tristop with a 70% Tetris rate, 1.1 pace. NGC with a 63% Tetris rate, max out pace. Nice burn for NGC with the L piece, gets Tetris. And now both players are close to transition, with Tristop enjoying a 2 Tetris lead. Nice Z spin from NGC, takes Tetris. It's now 2 lines away from transitioning. Tristop just 1 line away. Both players Tetris ready, waiting on the long bar. NGC gets long bar, so does Tristop. Tristop with the transition score of 598. NGC with 542. So a 50,000 point lead into level 19 for Tristop. Let's see if NGC can play post-transition better than Tristop to see if he can even up the match at 2-all, or will it be match point for Tristop? Both players playing very well so far in this post-transition. Quite aggressive from NGC, but the long bar does come for a Tetris. Bruh. Thank you. That was my computer having a hiccup, but we are back in the game with NGC Man being 2 Tetrises behind at level 22. Ooh, NGC with a bit of a dicey board. Nice series of burns. Gets a long bar to column number 2. Now needs a piece to the right hand side, does so. The L piece now needs an O piece to the left hand side, gets the O piece, puts it there. Now needs an O piece again, gets it. S piece in the middle of the stack. J piece to the left, and NGC once again is clean and gets a long bar for a Tetris, but is now almost 100,000 points behind into level 24. Tristop, on the other hand, not in a scoring position right now. Now needs a L piece, takes a double with the S piece, and is now at scoring position once again. Takes a long bar, takes a Tetris at level 25. 2 Tetrises ahead for Tristop. J piece needed for Tristop, does so. Gets a nice triple at level 26. Both players at max out pace into level 26. However, Tristop with a better pace right now. Nice quick tap on the O piece for Tristop. Nice Z spin as well for Tristop. Very masterfully played there by Tristop. Long bar for Tristop, Tetris 976, just 1 Tetris to go for the max out, and Tristop still at level 27. Tetris for NGC into level 28, and Tristop maxes out into level 28. Ooh, early dash load with the S piece for Tristop. Meanwhile, NGC Man also maxes out into level 28. Another max Tetris for NGC. 1 Tetris left for him, and NGC has taken the lead, takes another Tetris. Perfect level 28 play by NGC Man, and that might be combined world record. What was a best of 7 was a best of 5 is now a best of 3. Let's count them both down. Three, 2, 1, Tetris. Really excellent game by both players. NGC Man proving that he did indeed play better than Tristop at post-transition, and as a result won the game. Both players now with only 2 games to go in order to take the match and move on to the finals. However, I must stress, even if one of them loses the match, they still get to participate in the bronze match. The only difference being that instead of being eligible for 20 to 40% of the prize pool, you'll only be eligible for 16%. Looks like we've got some more stuff coming in. Gabacho, thank you very much for $50. Das is still hype. Thank you for the compliment. I think Das is still hype. That's why I hosted this tournament. I don't even know if the best of 7 is good enough. Maybe best of 35. Well, pumping up. A consideration. I mean, I'm not going to do it. Maybe, but only in a hardcore setting. Best of 5 of best of 5s. Now think about that. Alright, back into the game. Tristop with a J piece left hand side, but gets 2 J pieces to fill them out nicely. NGC with a nice start going on. 194 past 40 lines. Enjoying a 60,000 point lead. About 3 Tetrises. Tennis format, yeah, exactly. Very similar to a tennis format. SPs came at the worst time possible for NGC. I'll allow Tristop some opportunities to catch back up a little bit. Tennis dance game. What do you mean? That's how Trackmania comp works. I didn't know that. I thought Trackmania comp was just like track of the day, where you have to play perfectly every game, or otherwise you risk elimination. This is effectively a best of 1, but there's like multiple rounds of best of 1. Oh no, Vic. Oh no, a part of my soul left my body. You know how much I hate Vits, and look at that drought counter. Oh, and NGC takes a triple to get out of it. Almost hard punished. Very almost hard punished. Longbar does eventually come, and to be honest, if NGC did not take that triple, he would have been dead. Let's be truthful here. He would have been dead. Well, looks like my first playlist has ended. I need to move on to the next one. And oops, I did not mean to do that. Let's use the one that I used last time, but without the one song that's copyrighted. Goodbye, Flexfile. We'll come back to you soon enough. Okay, back to the game. NGC enjoying a 2 Tetris lead. 20 lines to go to transition. Nice adjustment for the S piece. Longbar, Tetris, 70% Tetris rate. Whoever wins this game will have match point. Critical game for both players. Because if you're fighting against match point, that means if you lose the game, that's it, you lost the match. NGC with a bit of a spot of bother right now. A high spy in the middle with a hole in the middle as well. It's going to take some surviving. 10 lines to go to transition, very dangerous. And there we go, now just waiting on L or J piece, puts Longbar in there. 1 line to go. And NGC does transition clean at 510. Tristop transitions dirty at 505, but still survivable. Both player stacks now playing a bit dirty once again. NGC waiting for an L piece. 2 of them ideally, he gets 1 of them. It's an S piece to the right hand side. Skim Longbar flat. And NGC is once again perfectly clean at level 20, being ahead by a double, basically. It's neck and neck between these two. Tetris for NGC and pulls away at a 1 Tetris lead. Tristop in the meantime gets a dirty Tetris, row number 2. That's not a Tetris bar, unfortunately, for Tristop, and it is instead Longbar dependent, or completely Longbar dependent now for Tristop. If Longbar doesn't come, he loses the game. Longbar does not come. And as a result, and it looks like NGC was also in a nasty dig. Oh, NGC also topped out. and as a result wins the game by a mere triple. It is now 2-3. I actually did not notice that NGC was also going to top out. What a sigh of relief for him. He thought he lost, but no. I was focusing on Tristop. Tristop topped out. NGC thought he lost, he topped out. But nope, he won by a triple. It is 2-3. Let's count them down for game number 6 of a possible 7. 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Tetris for both players. Good start for both of them. Another Tetris for both players, remaining at 1.5 million pace, the only pace that matters.
See, I think it's quite possible that the 1960s
Nasty Z piece for NGC takes a nice single skim, however it does lose 1.5 pace in the process. Tristop still at 100% Tetris rate. Now, the drought counter has begun, but after 18 pieces, long bar for NGC, now behind by 1 Tetris. Another Tetris for Tristop, and we might have to start the Tetrises in the row counter, but nope, never mind. A single skim has to be taken, no Tetris counter. I usually do that after 7 Tetrises in a row. I begin the counter. That's what I do when I play my own PvE attempts. I think the best I got is I think it's 17 Tetrises in a row. That's my PvE so far. Anyway, past the early game, 49 mark, 230 for Tristop, only taking, I believe, 2 or 3 burns. NGC, a little bit behind all that S piece misdrop. Now needs a J piece to put to the left hand side, to spin it to the left hand side, that is. Puts an O piece in there instead. Now needs a J piece, puts a long bar in there instead. Now needs a long bar and an L piece, gets both of them concurrently. Nice, okay. And NGC with a series of very nice pieces gets out of it. However, is now behind by 3 Tetrises. Exactly what Tristop wants. If Tristop wants to force a decider, he has to win this game. And is doing so right now. Not even at the halfway mark, already at 3-2-4, or that T-piece misdrop. Tristop is now completely long bar dependent. Oh, okay, bails out of it. Left hand side still barely accessible. Gets with a quick tap. Gets a long bar. That O piece gave it a bad time. Fails the L piece. And oh dearie me. Tristop suffers an early top out. And NGC, welcome to the finals. You have won the match. 2-4. And that is the nature of the DAS player. If you're high up, if you commit a mistake, the risk of death is very high. You can get lucky, but sometimes you don't. And unfortunately in this game, Tristop was not lucky. Do you feel lucky, punk? He apparently is though. Congratulations, NGC Man. You are now guaranteed 20% of the prize pool. However, you are currently the defending champion, as you have won the CT DAS Test Tournament You are now just one match away from winning the real tournament. We'll see you there. But for now, back to the bracket. We will set up the next game. See you in 10 minutes. Just give me a minute because chat has exposed one of my blunders. And that is a huge blunder on my part. You called it 70. Oh. This is what happens when I host a tournament at 1 in the morning because I'm not paying attention. I do apologize, NGC Man, in the severest way possible. That was my bad. It was only because Tristop left Max at cub really early on. He pretty much left immediately, so I had no judgment based on what score he had. So I do apologize for that.
Hey everybody, this is your old pal Vandweller, host of Classic Tetris Monthly. If you like this video, hit thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe and bang that notification bell. And follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/monthlytetris. Thank you, and have a nice day.